Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talking Class with Roland Ish. I'm Matt, and today we're going to take a look at all the features that Bards get levels 1 through 20. So, if you're playing a Bard in 5.5 edition or the 2024 Player's Handbook, this video is for you. So, let's dive right in. At character creation, there's a few things you need to know. The Bard's primary ability is going to be Charisma. That should be the one you focus on having be the highest ability score out of all the others. The Bard also uses a D8 for the hit point dice. So if you're rolling these die at level up, this is what you would roll to see how much health you would gain at the level up. It's also what you would roll during a short rest to recover any hit points that you might need during that short rest. Your saving throw proficiencies are Charisma, because it's your highest ability, and Dexterity, which is going to lead you into possibly making Dexterity your second highest modifier. And here's why you might want to. The Dexterity bonus is tied to many of the skills that you use for skill checks. It also helps determine your armor class, and it helps determine your initiative modifier, and that's the roll to see turn order. And it's important to have somebody like the Bard going near the top of the order because they kind of set the table for everybody else, and we'll get into that. But it would be smart, because that's the second highest proficiency, for you to make that your second highest ability modifier. But to each their own. For skill proficiencies, you get to pick any three, and there's a reason for this, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go through our levels. But if you're asking me, I would choose Persuasion, Deception, and Performance. All three skills use Charisma as the modifier, and all three skills come up quite often for the Bard. Because your Charisma modifier is so high, your party might look to you to be the spokesperson for the party. So when you're in a shop and you're trying to negotiate a discount, Persuasion might come in handy. If that shopkeeper is trying to appraise something you're trading and they're giving it a good look, maybe Deception comes in handy of how you obtained that item. And Perception will come up Performance will come up often because as a Bard, maybe you're playing a gig in a tavern somewhere. Rolling Performance will tell your DM how well you're playing, and that could affect the tips that you get or the information that you are seeking. Bards are great at sitting there and playing their instrument and looking around the room to see who is talking to each other, who is pointing at who's about to get in a bar fight. They see all. So choosing three skills is very important. Those are the three that I recommend. For weapon proficiencies, it's very simple, just simple weapons. You're not a martial fighter. You're not going to get access to anything cool, but you could have a dagger and a slingshot, something like that, just to keep yourself from getting destroyed if somebody comes up to you in close combat. You're mainly going to use your spells in combat. That's why. Tool proficiencies, you could pick three musical instruments of your choice. Great. Give you some options, give you some versatility. Pick three. Those are the three that you can play. That does not mean all three are in your inventory. Armor training, it's light armor only. Again, you're not a martial character, so you're not going to wear medium or heavy armor. There's no sense for your Bard wearing plate. Light armor keeps you moving, keeps you dexterous, and that'll protect you somewhat. Having a higher dex modifier will help keep that armor class up. You being at the top of the order will allow you to manipulate the battlefield while staying at a good distance away. See where this is going? As far as starting equipment is concerned, you get to have leather armor, which is light, 2 daggers, they're simple weapons, 1 musical instrument of your choice, so choose one of the 3 you're proficient in, maybe you find or buy the other 2 along the way, and an entertainer's pack, which is standard backpack, bedroll, water skin, but instead of torches, you get a hooded lantern, you get 3 costumes and a mirror, because you're an entertainer and you need to look your best. And then 19 gold of pocket money. Seems random, but you're a bard and you probably just made some coin off of a gig, so you got some pocket money. Or forgo all that, take 90 gold and work with your DM on exactly what you want to pick and choose to have on your person. Okay, now let's start building this bard. Before we jump in, there's this awesome table in your player's handbook that not only shows you the levels, but it also shows you like what you get at those levels. So it shows you your proficiency bonus, and when you can see when that increases, it increases as you level up. It'll have links to the class features for each level. So if you click on them, it'll take you right down to it below. We're going to go over all of them though. It shows you your bardic die. We'll talk about that when we talk about bardic inspiration at level 1. And then it's going to show you your spells. And we'll talk about your cantrips and your prepared spells. But know that your character level and the spell level are two totally different things. I like to refer to spell levels as spell power or spell power levels, just to differentiate the two so you don't get confused. So if you hear me say that as we go, that's why. But let's talk about it. Level 1, you get Bardic Inspiration. So this is where your skills as a bard come into play. Maybe you're playing a comedian, tell a joke. Maybe you're playing a musician, sing a song, hum a tune, give us a bar, right? Things like that. Anytime that you use a bonus action, you can inspire another creature within 60 feet of you that can see or hear you. That creature gains 1 of your Bardic Inspiration dice. A creature can only have 1 at a time. The number of uses for you, this is how many you can dish out, is the number equal to your charisma modifier. So let's say your charisma score is a 16. Your modifier is a +3. That means you can hand out 3 Bardic Inspiration die before you have to long rest to replenish them. So the higher your charisma modifier is, the more of them you can hand out. At level 1, your Bardic Inspiration is a D6. And whom you give that to, it allows them to roll a D20 test. That could be a skill check, an attack roll, or a saving throw. They roll that. Maybe it's not good enough, but hey, earlier in the session, you gave them Bardic Inspiration. Now they can roll this and add it to what they rolled. Maybe you're turning that failure into a success. So dish this out as often as you can. At higher levels, this dice is going to grow as you do. So yeah, it's a D6 here at level 1, but at level 5, it becomes a D8. At level 10, it becomes a D10. And at level 15, it becomes a D12. The higher level you go, the higher this die goes, the increased likelihood of success, whomever you're giving it to, will succeed on that check. And believe me, the higher you go in the higher level combat, you're going to need that Bardic Inspiration. So hand it out. As far as spell casting goes, you get 2 cantrips. Those are spells that really don't require much effort on your part. You know them innately. There's no limit to how many of them you can do. You just need to do them in turn order. So if it takes an action, you're going to use an action. It's just, you're not limited to how many of them you can do per day. Okay, so at level 1, you get 2 cantrips to choose from the Bard spell list. You also get 4 prepared spells. Prepared spells mean they are levels 1 through 9. You get 4. At level 1, you can only cast 2 of them. So you could do 2 of them or the same one twice. Those are your spell slots. To show you a visual of this, I go back to the table. You've got 2 first level spell slots. You know 4 spells, so choose the 2 you're going to use wisely. Once you long rest, your spell slots will reset and you'll be able to spell cast the next day. As you level up, you gain more spell slots. You also, at certain points, will gain access to higher level or more powerful spells all the way through level 20. That's how that works. Changing spells. So let's say you picked your spells. You prepared 4 spells, and now you've done some adventuring and you want to change one. You can only change 1 cantrip and 1 leveled spell when you level up. And that is the only time you can change it. So when choosing your spells, read them. Choose wisely, knowing you can only swap them out at level ups. Your spellcasting ability is going to come from your charisma. Again, the higher that is, the higher your spell attack bonus will be, the higher your spell save DC or difficulty class will be. That's the number your target needs to meet or beat to avoid whatever it is you're about to do to them that required a saving throw. Okay? And your spellcasting focus is your musical instrument. So your spells won't come from a staff or a wand if you don't want it to. It can come from your musical instrument. It's pretty cool flavor. At level 2, you get expertise. So remember when we talked earlier that you get to have, you get to pick 3 skills at character creation to be proficient in? And that allows you to add not just the abilities modifier, but your proficiency bonus to it, because you're proficient in it means you're just a little better at it. Well, now at level 2, you get expertise. You take 2 of the skills that you have proficiency in, and you make them expertise. That allows you to double that proficiency bonus. It's a pretty good bump now here at level 2. Imagine what that is at level 10. It's even higher of a bump. So as your proficiency bonus grows, as will that skills modifier of what you take expertise. So honestly, you should think about what are the top 2 skills that you are going to need. Now you're in a party that has some skills. Somebody's probably athletic. Somebody's probably stealthy, right? But Maybe not a lot of them are persuasive or deceptive or performance based like you are, where that will really come in handy. So if you've chosen deception, persuasion, or performance like I recommended at level 1, take 2 of those. I would choose performance and persuasion, as does the book, and become the expert. And don't worry, it's not just these 2. At level 9, you get to add 2 more of your proficient skills to become expert in. So that'll be cool. You get to do that twice in your career. Level 2, you also get a really cool thing called Jack of all trades. This comes from the expression Jack of all trades, master of none. It really just means you're good at a lot of things. For the skills and all the skills that you're not proficient in, you can add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to that skill check. So here at level 2, your proficiency bonus is 2. Half of that is 1. So let's say you did not make yourself proficient in a strength athletics check. You would typically be adding your strength modifier to it, plus half that proficiency bonus. Here at level 2, it's +1. So you're getting a little bonus of everything you're not proficient in. That's good. That means you're a jack of all trades. As you level up, though, as you increase in level and that proficiency bonus grows, so does the half that you're adding on. So as you grow, those things you're not proficient in also grow, which is pretty cool. No other subclass is going to be able to do that like you can. At level 3, you get to choose your subclass. Each of the subclasses, and there are 4 in the player's handbook, they offer unique benefits. They might be a cool feature or 2. They might be certain bonuses to certain things or access to spells you normally wouldn't have access to. And again, they're unique one from the other. So choose wisely here at level 3. This is a good time in your adventuring career to choose your career path. And so the Bard ones are named the College of Dance, the College of Glamour, the College of Lore, and the College of Valor. We're going to have a separate video called Bards Subclasses that you can watch right here on our channel that are going to break down those features from all 4. We're not going to do that here. This video is just talking about what all Bards get 1 through 20, but check out that video to see what the subclasses will do for you. At level 4, you get an ability score improvement, and this shows up 4 times throughout your adventuring career. Level 4, 8, 12, and 16. This is the point in time where you do an ability score improvement. You can increase 1 of your ability scores by 2 or 2 of your ability scores by 1. So that could really help you grow your skills, grow those modifiers as you grow in your career as an adventurer. So that's something to think about. And another thing to consider is every time your ability score reaches a new even number, the modifier will go up. So for example, if your ability score is 10, your modifier is a +0. It's nothing. If your ability score is 12, it's a +1. If it's a 14, it becomes a +2. If you reach 16, it becomes a +3. If you reach 18, it becomes a +4. If you reach 20, it becomes a +5. So know that. So when you're trying to pick your ability scores and you're thinking about how much do I need to increase this to get the modifier to go up, it's the even number to go higher. Okay. So remember that. If you're not going to choose an ability score improvement, talk to your DM because you may be able to take a feat. And a feat is something that might have a special move. Some of them do have a +1 ability score increase to something specific that you won't be able to choose. But read through the feats because in addition to things like that, it might offer you more spells. It might offer you other benefits. For example, there are 3 that I would consider taking as a bard. Musician, which will give you 3 more instruments to be proficient in. You already start with 3. You get 3 more with musician. So if you really want to be versatile and use a lot of instruments, take this. It's also going to give you the ability to do something called encouraging song. And you can use this as many times equal to your proficiency bonus. So if your proficiency bonus is a 3, you can use this encouraging song up to 3 times per day. And encouraging song is anybody that those who hear it will gain heroic inspiration. Heroic inspiration is advantage or a reroll. Bardic inspiration is a set numbered die to add to your roll. So musician is going to do the advantage thing, and you can do that a few times a day in addition to the bardic inspiration that you can dish out. So I like that as a feat because it's really going to help me help everybody else. And increase the likelihood of everyone's success. That's why musician's great. You should also take a look at alert. That is going to give you a little bump to your initiative bonus to keep you at the top of the order, hopefully. And if not, it allows you to initiative swap with a willing party. So if you're not going first and the party really needs you to go first, you can swap if you have the alert feat. And then there's Magic Initiate. Magic Initiate is something you can actually stack. You could take this feat more than once. What it does is actually gives you 2 cantrips to use from either the cleric, druid, or wizard spell lists. So even as a bard, you could take Magic Initiate and pick spells from their lists. If you want to flavor up your repertoire of spells, that's what you can do. The cantrips in that one leveled spell need to be from the same list. And Magic Initiate, you know how when you level up, you could change a cantrip and a leveled spell? Will also add a level up if you have a Magic Initiate. That leveled spell you can also change at the level up. And remember, if you took it from the druid list, pick a new druid spell. Okay? If you took it from the wizard list, pick a new wizard spell. So that gives you another spell to swap out and really add versatility to your character. So consider those. There are other great feats, but those are 3 I would recommend to you playing a bard. At level 5, you get Font of Inspiration. That means you gain back all expended uses of you dishing out bardic inspiration. You can reset them at a short rest and a long rest. Originally, it was just a long rest. Now it's both. So use them, because you can replenish them. And talk your party into short resting, even if they don't really need that much health. They could sure use one of these, right? Talk them into doing those short rests and really take advantage of that. That's why it's there. In addition, at level 5, let's say you're not really spellcasting. You're like, oh, I'm not really spellcasting a whole lot. We've been role-playing a lot. The situation we're currently in is not really combat. Okay. At level 5, you can swap out a spell slot to regain a use of one of these. So if you're handing these out a lot and you're really in a role-play heavy situation or a situation that requires like skill checks, saving throws, that's the way to go. Okay. And then at level 7, you get Counter Charm. Counter Charm's really cool. If you or a creature within 30 feet of you fails a saving throw that applies the charmed or frightened condition, you can use your reaction to cause that saving throw to be re-rolled with advantage. So if it was for yourself, re-roll that saving throw you just failed to avoid that condition. Or if it's a teammate, they can re-roll it, but with advantage on the re-roll. So it's like, oh, no. Let's reverse that. Counter Charm. It's a great feature. At level 10, this is where Bard gets really, really cool. Because levels 1 through 9, you are choosing spells from the Bard spell list. Once you reach level 10, these spell lists for Cleric, Druid, and Wizard all open up for you. So starting level 10 and on, when you gain new spells and get to learn new spells, you can choose them from those lists as well. So you could really flavor up your Bard however you want to. If you want to put a little bit of a druid twist in there, go for it. You want to add some religion and take some cleric without taking the class or multi-classing, pick their spells and flavor it that way. That's a really cool thing. In addition, when you replace a spell prepared for that class, you can replace it from those lists. So where the Magic Initiate feat was like, hey, if you choose these cantrips, you got to choose them all from the same list, right? This is like, all right, you had a druid spell and you want to swap it out for this wizard spell, have at it. So it's really opening up the book for you to really get creative with what spells you're going to be taking. And that's really cool. That's going to be most of you bards. For those bards that are going to be playing in higher level campaigns, you get 3 more things, starting at level 18 with Superior Inspiration. When you roll initiative, you gain expended uses of bardic inspiration until you have 2 if you have fewer than that. So you're not going to get them all back. You can get them all back at a short rest and a long rest. But when you roll initiative, let's say you're missing 4, you get at least 2 back. I'll take it, right? So again, encouraging you to dish out your bardic inspiration. Second cool thing you would get at higher levels is at level 19, an epic boon feat. These are feats just like available at level 4, 8, 12, and 16. But this time it's from a specific list called the boon list. The game recommends the boon of spell recall. So go take a look in your player's handbook at chapter 5 to read all about the boon feats, but you get to choose one here. Again, if you can't think of one and you're hard to choose, the book recommends spell recall. Check that out. Then finally, at level 20, you get something called Words of Creation. This is if I'm playing a high level adventure, I would really consider taking Bard just for this thing here at level 20. So for those Vecna Eve of Ruin players playing up to level 20, somebody play Bard. Here's why. You've mastered 2 of the words of creation, life and death. Therefore, you always have power word heal and power word kill spells prepared. When you cast either, you can target a second creature with it if that creature is within 10 feet of the first. That is massive. That is like having 2 9th level spells, okay? Power word heal allows you to choose a target. They heal all their hit points, and if they are charmed, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned, the condition automatically ends. If they're prone, they can use their reaction right now to stand up. Awesome. This is telling you you can do that spell to a second person within 10 feet of the first. That's amazing. That can really help your party get out of a tough situation. Power word kill. You compel a creature you can see within range, 60 feet, to die. If the target has 100 hit points or fewer, it dies. Otherwise, if it has more than 100 hit points, it doesn't die, but it does take 12d12 psychic damage. That's awesome enough for 1 target. Remember, this is telling you you can target 2 if the second creature is within 10 feet of the first. At a high level combat, that is so useful. I would play a Bard just to get this and do this at level 20. That is going to be so devastating and awesome at the party, at the table. I want to experience that. It's worth taking Bard if you're going to do higher levels campaigns. I'm going to say this 1,000 times as I do these class videos. That might be my favorite feature for Bard. And you're going to hear me say that. I might compare it to other things too. I might be like, look, Bard at level 20 is better than everything else. I love that so much. Okay, so if you want to take a look at the subclasses, we got you covered. Check out our Bard subclasses video to review what those 4 subclasses will give you from the player's handbook. Like, subscribe. By doing so, it's going to put this video in front of more people, and I would love for those more people to be like kids and people learning how to play. So even if you knew this stuff or disagree with it, like it, please subscribe. Talk to me in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Bard. So good luck. Have fun playing your Bard. And until next time, we'll see you at the table. Failed my charisma save. Until next time, we'll see you at the table. Good grief.